Hi, welcome. My name is Dorcas Powell, and this is my first video being featured on YouTube. I specifically wanted to come on YouTube and design a channel for women or for anyone, in fact, or people that just look like me. Someone to talk about defibrillator in heart and cardio defibrillators, heart health. Back in 2018, I found myself in the doctor's office. My son was playing a basketball game and he wasn't feeling well and he was short of breath. So I took him to the doctor, and once we got to the hospital, they did all these different checks and tests. They did an EKG on him, and they told me before I had to leave that I needed to speak with the cardiologist. And when the cardiologist came in, he notified me and my son that we most likely were gene carriers for prolonged QT, because the EKG showed on the wavelength that my son was having some heart arrhythmia issues. He didn't want to just outright diagnose us, so he sent my son to a actual cardiologist, and he did the treadmill test. They did all these other different echocardiograms. They looked at his heart, and then once they did that, then they determined that in fact he did have prolonged QT. But they also subsequently sent us for genetic testing to see if I was a gene carrier that passed that gene down, because with prolonged QT, it's something that you don't just get or you gradually grow up and you have it. It's something that's hereditary. It's passed down from family member to family member. It's a gene. So I was sent to, because I deal with Kaiser, I was sent to Kaiser Riverside, and I was sent to be screened for genetic testing for prolonged QT. And in fact, myself and my son, we were finally diagnosed with having the gene that causes prolonged QT. For many years, I had no problems with my heart. My heart was fine. It was strong. In the back of my day, I was thugging and drugging and drinking and doing all kind of things. But that's another topic for another day. And I never had any issues. I used to run. I'm a little sizey now, but I used to run. I was really athletic. I never had any issues. But back late in 2018, I woke up one morning and I didn't feel right. I felt like myself, but I felt slower. And I have a pulse oximeter because I work in the health field, and I checked my pulse, and my pulse was 38. That was my first sign that something was going on with my heart. It went from 38 to 42 to 36. I got in my car and I drove myself to a local emergency room. I probably shouldn't have drove myself, but I was like, I got to get somewhere. I probably should have just called 911 or had a neighbor drive me, but I didn't. That's another topic for another day. Got to the hospital, they checked me, they asked for the different medications that I was taking. I was taking a blood pressure medication at the time. I knew I had prolonged QT, but my heart was really finally showing signs that in fact I was going to need a cardio-defibrillator or some sort of implanted pacemaker to help my heart. And that was the defining moment. So the following week, I went and I seen my cardiologist. They did an EKG, and it was time. It was time. Even before I even had my actual surgery, I had experienced all sorts of different symptoms now that I think back. And that's the reason why I think this platform is really important for people that maybe have heart issues or they're experiencing different sensations. Being able to go to the doctor and advocate for yourself if you feel your heart is heavy or something is going on. You really got to advocate for yourself, because the healthcare system is overran. There's so many people, there's so many different illnesses, and the hospitals are really overwhelmed. Okay, they got so many different people coming in and going, complaining about various things, but it's really up to us to advocate for ourselves for different tests and for different things that we need for ourselves to be able to live and thrive. According to Kaiser, they want you to thrive. I'm a Kaiser member, by the way. Anyway, the point that I'm making is I experienced so many different heart issues for a while, and I just wasn't aware until I actually got my physical diagnosis of prolonged QT. And after that, I was implanted with the cardio-defibrillator. That's the whole reason why I wanted to make this channel, because I wanted to bring light and to shine a little bit of, just to give some more information, just to shine the light on cardio-defibrillators, implantable cardio monitors for our hearts and different things. Because, you know, you could be walking around one day and have something going on with your heart, but if you don't know what to look for, or maybe you just are concerned or curious about how it is to live with a cardio defibrillator. But hey, I'm that person. I'm here. My name is Dorcas Powell. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to leave a message in the comment box, and just feel free to ask. But I really wanted to come on here because when I started my cardio defibrillator journey, there was no one to really talk me through it. At the doctor office where I go, it's kind of sad, but they just gave me a pamphlet and they talked about it. But there wasn't really like a peer group or someone that I could connect with or talk to that had a cardio defibrillator that could kind of give me a little knowledge, what to look for. So sometimes I had a few rough days and I gave some attitudes, and I probably wasn't the nicest person because of lack of knowledge, I wasn't informed well enough at the beginning of my first implantation of my cardio defibrillator. But anyway, make a long story short, let's just wrap this up because I have things to do, and I just really wanted to come on here and create this channel as a way for people that look like me or just anybody in the spectrum of life that was getting ready to have a cardio defibrillator implanted, and they had questions and they had concerns, and they really wanted to know like what the recovery period is going to be like. Will you be able to drive after you've had your surgery? Things to look for, things that you can't be around, because there's a couple of things that once I had my surgery, I discovered that if a fan was in the living room or I was standing under a ceiling fan and it was too high in that motor, it would send a signal and it would interrupt the frequency of my defibrillator. So I had some things that I had to kind of learn on my own, trial and error. But anyway, my name is Dorcas Powell. This will be my YouTube channel. If you have questions or concerns about anything to do with cardiac health or cardio defibrillators, I'm actually on a journey right now because I'm getting ready to possibly have gastric bypass surgery because I'm a large lady. I ain't little. But in order for my heart to last long, it's time. I really have to buckle down and focus on losing some weight. So you'll see me along on my journey, exercising and eating salads and vegetables. But they're good for you, but so is french fries and ketchup and ranch. But that's another topic for another day because I really got to get the weight off. But anyway, welcome to my channel. Please feel free to ask questions and hope to see you soon.